Hey Charlie, this is Joe. I'm going to head out to the airport here in a little bit. It's 4 o'clock our time, and I'm going to head out to the airport, and then I'll just call or text you about our next date. Um, anyway, here's the email that Mark sent, and I'm just trying to break down this box a little bit more. To answer your question, I put notes under JAG. So to just specifically talk about December, your good lead count is 435. In June, good lead count with your prior system and setup was 477. But why was it down here compared to there under the new program? Yeah, we flipped the switch here, but I'm just going to focus on December. Well, first off, this ungrouped leads, which is your admins, they were way up when we first started and they just fell off a scotch there. Your active engaged leads were down a little bit, just a few by Auto Trader. Car Gurus was up. Cars.com was down just 8 from prior months, but they're not, it's not a bad thing. Chrysler Digital was off by 21. So if I had a good internet director, that guy should tell me those answers, right? And you have to look at leads from, sorry about that chime in. You have to look at leads as a trend throughout the year and quarter to quarter. A good internet director is going to tell me that whether I'm up or down on the money I'm spending. I could have a dealership and a GM running a good operation, but you could always have a bad month. I don't throw you out with the bathwater, and you know that. Apologize to you for you feeling like I was talking down to you. I was just trying to do the analysis on the numbers that he was figuring on Cars.com, but let's look at it for what it is. I'm down a little bit, and then up a scotch, down, and down pretty good. This event leads, look at this. When you flip the switch with us, this had nothing to do with flipping the switch, but your event leads were kind of a monster there going into September. I don't know what events leads are or where they come from, but they pretty much just disappeared. So, it's only showing a -2 from the prior month, but you look at how much it's dropped since it just started disappearing. But anyway, just looking at December, if I add up what I was down and added in what I was up, I'm still down by 43. 43 to the 435 is 483. 483, is just barely under maybe what, the trend looks like. But as far as, September was 503. That's really not bad considering we sold more cars. Now, remember they said it was a marathon for SEO, SEM. For that organic and that generic stuff coming through your website to come back up to full speed, and Dealer.com is going to produce better than Ben's there. You're going to have to give it a little bit more time. 3 months is a good shot, but you're seeing the up and downs with the advent of the new. So the reason why is you had several lead sources that were down. I would have my internet director go and tell me why were they off and they off and they off. What happened? And then what the heck is event leads where we used to get a bunch and all of a sudden we get nothing. And TrueCars seems to be holding, and of course then your VIN Solutions, which was a big batch of your numbers, is dying off because everything's moved to the new site. Okay, so event leads dropped off hard after September. Chrysler Digital was down, Advantage Engage was down, Ungrouped, which would be Edmunds, is down. Those are some biggies, and my internet director should be able to tell me what the heck happened, right? Going down here, this is the new website. It was up the first month, and then because it didn't click on till that month, and then it went down just a spot there. And the reason why it's showing down because it is tied to your Chrysler Digital. Okay, so then what you have when I look down here at calls, I went and verified it. Sir, the phone call spike is October, November, December. That is strictly your Cars.com call, Cars.com number. You look down here, your mobile sales is in this red. So your click to call has been staying pretty steady. But then your phone website parts, your phone website sales, look at website sales is blowing up. And that is directly attributed to the number on Cars.com. So you had a lot more people call you from your site, which we're seeing more today than email engagement, right? So I know he's targeting Cars.com down here. Please, sir, I appeal to your better half. That's not what we're saying, and what Mark is saying in this email is not everything's great and we're just going to go like it is. What we're showing you, because you're asking us, why is it down? You had more lead sources here in December down. You had less lead sources here down because what was falling off, and TrueCar seemed to be way down in November, or a nice little chunk down. And what we lost in VINs, we picked back up in Chrysler Digital, which is part of your new website. So it's replacing itself, right? And you'll see that continually to grow in that area. So what's the one reason why you're down since we clicked on? Okay, the myriad of answer is this. There was a number of lead sources that fell off. There was a big one there with that event leads. In that first month, we flipped the switch. So the $7,900 that you're spending, the AdWords, SEO, SEM is a marathon. It's going to be longer than this to see that come up, but it's actually going to be coming up. But what did that have to do with any of your other lead sources? Absolutely nothing. That is up to you guys to monitor and inspect why there was an increase or decrease. Good news is we took this out of VIN, so Dari or whoever is responsible for looking should look. And I know you got us contracted. What we're doing on digital is we are ramping you up on that side, and you're going to see a tremendous difference. You already got a great dividend in the dealer.com website in the phone calls, because that's strictly dealer.com calls the last 3 months of the year. There's no way it could be tied to VINs or the number that was on VINs. So what we're doing is we're looking at the calls and the internet leads that are coming into your system, and those calls are directly related to your website. And the only website you had at that time was cars.com. So I apologize if this was offensive. I apologize if you thought what I was saying was offensive, but here's the deal. I'm with you. We're not saying it's perfect. We are agreeing it's down. We are concerned like you are. And I'm just looking at it pragmatically. He pulled the numbers. I can go pull them too, but as I look at it, I got more sources than not in this month or in this month that are producing for me, regardless of flipping or not, compared to any other months that I might even be looking at, regardless of what service I had in website. Just what it is, sir. The internet lead sources that are third-party providers are the ones you're going to have to challenge and find out why that they chili dip on you during the time you should have had a peak. As far as calls, you had a peak in calls. So be curious to see what your conversion rate on the calls were, by the floor, whoever got those. So here's the deal. In a nutshell, you had a multiple lead source down for an average is your answer. And I highlighted at least 3 of the 4 of the biggies. One that is called event lead that I'm not sure what that is. So there's your answer. What do we do to fix it? My advice, this is me, back to you guys as a consultant for you who's got the digital process working. If we want to close more car deals, I need those fixed, so I need whoever your point man is on that to go and fix that, okay? And if you got Dari doing too much, then, some stores have something called a marketing manager, but I'm sure Dari's more than capable. So anyway, there's the answer. Multiple sources were down more so than any, and those other sources had nothing to do with flipping a switch, because a bulk of that money has to do with branding, presence, and marketing strategy, but that's not going to drive leads from those other party sources. The only party source that we're looking at that seemed to be down was the Chrysler Digital, and I would be checking into that, right? If I was Dari, why did my factory go down on me in my area, right? When Dick Poe went up, what was the difference? So we might need to find that out. And if there was a slip or disparage in what you were supposed to get as far as your PMA share in that count, I'd be challenging some zone going, what happened? All I did was go to the factory website, dealer.com, and digital dealer with the factory, and I got less fruit out of it. So why did they penalize y'all? I don't know. Good questions. Those are just questions to throw up. It's not that dramatic, but it adds up to the big difference in why you're seeing the trend is the wrong way. If I didn't have these and I was more of in the black like I am in other months, you wouldn't see the downward trend, but really it's not as far off as we think, but it's just less than what we'd like normally, but then far less than what we would expect on a peak month like December. calls were definitely there. So here's what I'm saying. Sometimes we're looking for a radical change, and this is what I'll tell you, from me to you, being the experienced folks that we are. If I did pay for a mailer campaign and I didn't get the results in the first 30 days, you're right. I agree with you. I'm just like you. I would kill that sucker. But you remember, this is digital. The $7,900 you're spending did not directly affect those other lead sources. Okay. And those other lead sources are the ones that hurt you the most combined, way more than Chrysler Digital, right? So if those others were on, that little deficit in Chrysler Digital really wouldn't have mattered, because you would at least been your normal trend. Maybe down for a normal December, thinking it's going to be higher, but not necessarily, off the chain. But anyway, it is what it is, sir. Our recommendation is you would continue in the direction you're going, because on indicators that we're able to see, it's better. You didn't spend $7,900 to double, triple your lead base. You spent that kind of money to build the platform to where that lead base would increase. Because as we start to build the presence and the branding, and you're ranking and you're driving that machine, it's a marathon, remember, not a race. You will see the dividends. Stores that we're with that have done that over the past 18 months to 2 years, another one I'm thinking of 9 months in, another one that's 14 months in, are seeing those residuals today. But it takes hard work, and did a great job with Vince and what you had prior to, for just the year that you had it, or even less than a year. Okay. But it doesn't mean that this is awful or worse, and it's a waste of your time. But you're the customer, sir. If you decide you want to go in a different direction with those dollars and that effort, you're more than welcome to. And we're not directly handling it. We're just doing the reporting for you and the overview, because you're using Digital Dealer and those things. And yes, we recommended them. Typically, we have a good relationship with the factory, like you do, and Conrad, and many times the OEM channels seem to be the best. We have some renegades out there that do third-party websites and customs, and spending a lot more money doing their own thing and ringing the bell harder while they keep a required factory site somewhere, just in order to get co-op monies coming in, and it's just a redirected URL. Many ways to do it. Many ways to do it. This was a recommendation that you jumped on, and it will pay its dividends. You're seeing dividends on process and internet leads. We're able to close more deals with leads that are coming in, whether high or low, whether this website or that website, doesn't matter. You get me leads, I'll help you sell more cars just with the leads coming in. And I did my part on the job, and then the other part on the job is helping you keep your hand on this digital side. And anyway, I apologize for any misconceptions or any thing negative or derogatory that may have come across or out of me. That was not my intention at all. I think it just was misinterpreted as to why I was figuring that way. Not that you were dumb. I was trying to justify why Mark was saying what he was saying. In the internet world, I need an internet director that can tell me what my trends are from year over year, quarter over quarter, or quarter against a quarter, as to why any one month might be up or down, and I'm not going to sweat it. Just like I can go 3 weeks with very low sales, and I can still pull out a month in a week, and I'm not going to sweat it. I've seen it before. Just like I've seen us blow up the first half of a month and then die off at the end of the month. I'm not going to sweat it, because I've got that experience. But I understand you're 3 months in, spent this money, but it's not a mailer. This is digital, so it's a little bit more table shelf life that you're going to have to play with for you to see a dividend. Or you can make a choice to do whatever you like. I'm here to support you. Thank you so much for the hospitality. Thank you so much for all that you do. At this point, there's just no way I could accept that Dallas Cowboy gift. Thank you so much for it. But I just couldn't do that after the conversations today. Thank you so much.